Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 8th meeting of the City of Shoreacres City Council. Ms. Goodman, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mayor,
Present.
Lieutenant Mayor Macaulay,
Present.
Alderwoman Ramos, Alderman Hoskins, Alderman Greason,
Present.
and Alderman West.
Present. I'm so good at this. What's going on so slow? Goodness gracious. All right, we have a quorum. Yay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right. Well, we have no special presentations, but since Kimberly from Linebarger is here, she'll introduce herself again to everyone. Hi, Kimberly from Linebarger. Step up there and tell us what you do. First, let me do a preamble. If you recall, we engaged the Linebarger to help us with collections, past due collections, especially traffic tickets and such, and they've done a great job since we did that. So there you go.
Yes, I'm here with Linebarger. This was impromptu. I was just popping in to say hello. Missy Lane was gracious enough to invite me, and Chief, good to see you again. Good to see all of you guys. But we've been collecting the fees and fines since 2019. I actually brought an updated report tonight to share with Diane and with the council if you'd like. Then I also bought the last month's report as well, so you can see some of the numbers. If you'd like to take a look at that. But basically, I was just popping in to say hello. And if you guys have any questions.
Ms. Goodman, do you have any questions representing Diane?
No,
5-1.
which she does an amazing job communicating with us and everything. So.
Telling her she's doing an amazing job is not a question. Thank you.
Well, actually, she comes to the office and meet with us. So that's kind of like we covered a lot of this stuff when she comes.
It's just offhand, do you have a percentage of outstanding versus what you collected?
It's gonna be all on this first page here. So that first page, if you look at, the first box will go over the current month. And then as you go down that page, it'll show you year to date. And then it'll show you your collection percentage.
If that amount elected, boys and girls, $337,000.
And then it'll show you, as you go through the pages, some of the other year-to-date information in terms of placements, which would be new warrants or new citations that we get each month. Some months we don't get warrants because it's just going to depend on when the court is going to be issuing, and then we get them 60 days after they've gone into effect. So you'll see the new placements or the new warrants. You'll see year-to-date collections all the way dating back to 2019. We try to do a 12-month to an 18-month snapshot for those collections. And then if you need additional data, like I said, we can go all the way back to 2019 month for month if that's needed. But this just kind of keeps you comprised of what we're doing each month, that current month, and then it'll go all the way back to year-to-date, including outbound phone calls, including letters that go out, letter campaigns that go out to the debtors. And then anytime there's a status change, such as someone's who's maybe hired an attorney or someone who's deceased, we update those statuses as well in that packet. And the last 2 to 3 pages just give you the bar graph data.
Wow, this is great. We've never seen this.
Oh, well, wonderful. I'm glad I stopped in today.
Yeah.
And I provide this each month to Miss Diane. And she gets it electronically. And then as Ms. Elaine was saying, I try to come out. If not every month, say hello, every other month to drop off a hard copy. So that's kind of what I was hoping to catch Diane tonight. If not, then I would have just emailed it to her as well. But yes.
We will be following warrants tomorrow. So you
awesome.
get an update report.
She did let me know that there were not any issued for this month, that she's going to be working on that, but that can vary. So that's not such a big surprise if there's not some every month, because it's going to just depend on the court. Any questions I can answer?
How are you paid?
We are paid, so we are a contingency fee firm. So we tack on our 30% on top of whatever is outstanding. So we do not take any funds away from what's outstanding to the city, which is the neat thing about us. Our fee is added on and passed on to the debtor on top of that. Thank you, Chief. That was a good
How long
answer.
do y'all pursue a collection? Is it
For life.
indefinite?
Indefinite for life. Once you send it to us, we're going to continue to collect on that through letters, phone calls until that debtor pays that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's no time frame in terms of that.
Outstanding.
So we appreciate you all's business and we look forward to continuing.
Well, I can guarantee that $200,000 in the last 24 months has helped us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are a little bitty city.
Yes, and we want to work hard for you guys to continue, sorry, Chief, continue to make sure we're bringing funds in. So keep sending us those citations.
All right. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
out.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Item 4.1, council requests. There we go. Public hearings, public comments. There are no public hearings, no people here tonight. Mr. Harrison, item 6.0, administrative report, 6.1, city manager report.
All right, I'll read you the cash position as of the last day of March of 2024. Our restricted debt, $32,461.32. The utility deposit fund is $93,866.06. Road repair taxes collected through tax pool, we're at $62,121.31 for a total of $188,448.69. Under the encumbered funds or unencumbered funds, we have general fund checking, $602,732.19. Utility checking, $124,782.09. And then in tax pool, we have $1,020,909.39. That brings our total to $1,748,423.50.
Any questions?
Mr. Harrison,
Yes,
have we paid off the paving of the road over there?
the check is cut. It's ready to be mailed. And you'll notice that our tax pool fund, that came down quite a bit under the road repairs. That's why, because it's already, QuickBooks has already taken it out. So officially we paid it. We was waiting for, I was trying to clarify one thing with the company before we mail the check out.
The other thing was, our judicial docket be up to date now? Pretty much.
We're getting really close. I think the mayor's got a special report that he runs for that.
Yeah, we're still not losing money on court. That's the main thing. We don't want to lose money. Getting closer, like I said before, it's going to narrow, it's going to tighten up. As long as we can break even, we're good. Right now, we're about $23,000 up. So by the end of the year, it'll be close to breaking even.
Okay, yeah, I looked at it and, the only other thing I had was, in our budget, we were looking at, bank service charges. And we had budgeted, around $500, in our budget for bank service charges. We're spent as of date, $2,009 for bank service charges. Is that a one-time something set up or what is? How did we miss that so bad, I guess? I'm looking at page 3 of it.
What's the account number?
The account number is 6335. $402 over budget.
6.3, what would you say, Mr. Grayson?
6335, page 3. Second line.
You sure that's not page 4?
It's page 4.
Page 3 on that.
Okay.
Page 4 in the handout.
Yeah. That's right.
Answer. Elaine can answer you.
Mr. Grayson, part of that charge is due to the assistant of Hannah, a bank rep, that has to help us with reports for the audit. And a lot of that charge was from that,
Maybe we move that to the audit fees.
for the audit of 2022 to 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that, you know, every year we base the budget on what we spent on the last year's budget. And this is a big 402, you know, increase. Is it something we're gonna see again, or is this, you know, we're gonna audit the books next year? Yeah.
If we have to use them and I cannot print out a reports or something in my own to the Treasury Department, and I had to request her assistant during the audit, we will be charged. Now, what the amount will be, we will not know.
That probably should not be in bank service charges. That probably has a better category.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's, you know, in addition, we had, bank service charges for water, which is another bank service charge. We spent 317 and we budgeted 120. Well, that again is, you know, over our budget and 264.2% over.
Now, what you had to need to keep in mind is that this charge, we got billed after the fiscal year had beginning. They didn't bill us before that. They didn't bill us before September 30. So that's why we took some of that amount into the new fiscal year, but it's actually for the previous year. It's just they bill us late.
and just in general, this is what I do before a meeting is I'll shoot Troy or Elaine an email if I have a question. So hey, I'm going to ask you about this tonight. That way they can be better prepared.
Yeah.
And then they can answer your questions a little easier and a little more in detail.
Last question here is, the item 6390-20 state traffic violation fee.
Yeah, that's because we are issuing more tickets and collecting more revenue. So the more revenue we get in, we have to, you know, the state gets a portion of that. So that's not an actual loss. That means we're writing more tickets. The more tickets you write, the higher that number is going to go. So we underestimated the amount of tickets we're going to write.
Well, that's fine. As long as it's, you know, if we get some in, get them paying any out.
Anything else?
It's a net zero. You
Anything else you find in there?
that was the only items I had, other than, that was all the items on the budget. So we can proceed on.
Okay. And continuing with Mr. Harrison's report.
This is the parking lot at Shell Beach, which is pretty much complete. They've got to come remove two pieces of equipment, but the limestone, I think, was the right way to go. I really went back and forth with what to do, but in talking with some subject matter experts, that seemed to be the best way to go for the location and what we're trying to do. So I've been down there. I think many of you have been down there. It looks really good. I've driven on it several times to see if it was going to be muddy or anything like that, and it's holding up well. So
I've already gotten compliments on it.
I have too. I've gotten several people that's flagged me down and asked who did it, you know, like one another contractor. And by the way, the contractor that did it lives in our city and passed away 2 weeks ago from CRS Construction. He's the same one that built the parking lot at the pavilion for us. And
Unexpected.
yeah, very unexpected. In fact, I was wondering why this thing wasn't being built. So I called him and left him a voicemail and, you know, didn't hear back from him. And it was very sad to learn that he passed because I've dealt with him a lot in the last few years. But great parking lot. I think it's very good for us.
And the next thing we're going to do to finish it up is lower those signs. We're going to lower those so they're not visually impacting anything.
Going to lower the signs and we're going to buy cross ties or something, some curb stops to put kind of to designate a parking space.
The big railroad ties. That way there'll be 13 spots.
Okay, I agree. It looks great. I went down there and I drove out on it to see if it was gonna be muddy or whatever, but the thing that I noticed, I went down to Shell Beach and you see where that brush is there? Where the tree is, and then there's right next to it, there's a bunch of brush and stuff.
I believe I know what you're talking about.
And
To the left-hand side.
there's a lot of driftwood that they're stacking up in that brush area there. So when we have cleanup, green up, maybe we can haul that out and have, haul it off. And I'd really like to clean up that, under, leave the trees there, but clean the brush up. Maybe if we could.
Well, a few months ago, it was cleaned up. That's new growth that's come back, but we're trying to keep our goal. The mayor and I had talked about this, and our goal was to keep it so you could see through and under those trees.
Yes.
It was the goal, and we got to get back out there and clean it back up.
Yeah, I haven't found anyone to help me volunteer. Gonna have a work day, but right now I don't have any volunteers, so I've been putting it off. Nobody seems to be too interested, so.
Well, call me.
Okay.
It'll be a good time to bring up that we're having the heavy trash that starts next Monday, the 15th. Mr. Decker has his truck back in service, and I put it on next door, and I think we got it on the water bill this month too, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, there's several people that have trees that's fell in their yard, kind of waiting for this. And next Monday, I'm gonna have to get on the ball, and my next door neighbor, I gotta go help him some or something. But okay, maybe we can get that hauled out to the road and they can take it, that driftwood that's down there. And somebody,
I haven't seen it. I'll go down and look at it in the morning when it's daylight, but we can certainly, if there's stuff stacked up, we can get it.
Okay, anything else on this section?
and also on Circle, Shoreacres Circle back there on the west side of the circle, there's a dead tree that has some limbs that's off a bit, but it looks like the whole tree may fall at some time. It's kind of leaning a little bit. I don't know if that's on the city property or if it's on somebody else's.
I'll take a look at that too. So we started sending out dead tree letters about 2 months ago. Got a lot of dead trees in the city cleaned up. But we also cleaned up the city right of ways at the same time. It wasn't fair to have residents to clean them up. We had so many, but we have just about finished ours. If that one didn't get cut, then it's probably the residents, but I'll go look at it.
Yeah, take a look at it as well. See.
Is that on Shoreacres Circle?
Yes,
Yes.
it's right across from Bernie's house and it's leaning severely.
Yeah, I think we've looked, I think it's the residents, but I'll make sure.
Close to the road, so I was
Yeah.
worried about a car falling on the car if you get down through there. What else? That's about all. Haven't walked the back up the shoreline there to see if that old pier is still out there. Did y'all ever pull that old pier that was down there?
We have picked up pieces here and there.
I'll look again, maybe for this next cleanup.
One other thing that's gonna bite us if we're not careful, we have one house where the yard's completely grown up. The gentleman that had the cats, his yard is in severe need of mowing, and then the blue house off a byway on the corner, 2-story. All three of those are just about out of hand.
All three of those are in probate. All three had deaths that
Blue House, the Vicky Montgomery's house.
yes, sir. And the other two is Mr. Jim's, and then, I mean, they're all in probate. It's really difficult to do much with them. I agree. It looks horrible. I wish we could do something, but we've been advised
The city cannot go on the property and mow.
not to do it.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. Moving on. Item 6.2, police report, Mr. Harrison again.
You've had the police report. There's not a lot out of the ordinary. We had a close call last weekend with the drowning of a toddler Thankfully, the officer was there really quick and Windsor was here at that time. And the officer actually stopped. He was called on his cell phone, not through dispatch, and he stopped and got the ambulance and they were there within 2 minutes and the child was pulled out before they got there. But we're really thankful that that there wasn't bad news to report on that. So with spring and summer getting here and more people having swimming pools and all, we just ask people to be safe around swimming pools and watch their kids. It doesn't take long.
The little kid was transported, but he did fine. He's fine today.
He was in the hospital overnight for
They
observation.
did find him in the bottom of the pool, so. Yeah,
That's good.
all right, Mr. Harrison, I sent you an email about the total citations being down 40%.
And I can explain that after talking with Sergeant Tidwell. So he pulled the officers off of 146 and Shoreacres Boulevard for several weeks and put them over in the little streets. That resulted in very, very few citations, if any. I haven't looked, but they speed on these small streets and the 100, 300 blocks of Meadowlawn and Forest, they speed. But if we sit there, they see us and they don't speed. I mean, our cars are they glow in the dark. And so we're back out on 146. I mean, we're back out here now. And I think I don't know how many she's holding now, but I brought 8 over this morning. So there's probably 6 right there. So we probably wrote 14 in the last 2 or 3 days. So we're back on track.
Yeah, I saw Officer Ryan, writing some. And speaking of Officer Ryan, anybody got any questions on the police report? Speaking of Officer Ryan. Yesterday, I was at, Shell Beach and that little boy I was babysitting and I took him down there. And Officer Ryan came down there for a different reason. But he took Owen and we took his picture and then he deputized Owen and made him a Shoreacres reserve officer and gave him a badge. There's one on his shirt, but he gave him an extra one. And we were trying to get him to hold that down so he could get his face, but it worked out better because I could put that on Facebook because his face was covered and I didn't have to blur it. So that'll be something he'll remember for a long time. And I think that's the essence of what Mr. Harrison is doing with the police department.
I think the officers here, I think we have the best officers we've had, and they're Officer Ryan I've known for 35 years, and this is who he is. He's Officer Hosse's the same. I mean, we really have good officers. I could never brag on them enough.
I agree with you.
We don't concentrate on putting people in jail and writing citations. We concentrate on community involvement, and then when we have to do those things, we certainly do them.
Now,
That's not our
did you
focus.
notice what he just did? How he slid in there that we don't concentrate on citations after I just chastised him for not getting enough? He is slick. Let me tell you.
I've seen people in my position go to prison before over this.
All right. Anything else on Wes?
No, sir.
Paul? Gabriel? No, sir. All right, moving on. Item 6.3, Public Works. Go ahead.
So we had a slow month for Public Works for the most part. As far as leaks, we didn't have a lot of leaks. The most important thing that happened in Public Works is our last project is pretty much 100% finished. We've taken the water plant over here. We've emptied the tanks that we've been waiting on. We had a calibration issue for the last 18 months that couldn't get figured out. And they finally figured it out and got it repaired. There's still a couple of things on the punch list that we need to do, but nothing that's holding us up. So the tanks were drained. They were filled, or there's water. There was enough water to put in there to draw samples out of. We sent the first sample off last Friday. Haven't got it back yet because we didn't expedite it because we have to take another sample Wednesday. They have to be so many days apart. So once those samples come back good, this water plant will be back in service for the first time in, I don't know, 3 years, maybe. Maybe 4, a long time. And that's not, that is not on David Sutton and his company. That is absolutely on the construction company, McKinney, and on Cobb Finley, the engineering. I don't know why it took them so long to figure this out, but it's done now. So get back in service.
Mr. Harrison, I did see down at Circle Park, we've got 1 meter cover, remember, plastic cover and everything. Looks like it was run over with a truck or something.
We're at,
It's probably on the west side of Circle Park.
oh, I do know where you're talking about. I don't know. I saw that today. It's up out of the ground, right? Yeah, I don't really know where that belongs. I'll go out and find it. We've had some memorials out there that, so for some reason, at some point, somebody put meters over it to protect it, but I don't think that's one of those. I'll get out there and look at it and figure it out.
Seems like it's busted up. I looked at it, but maybe I was.
May have got hit by a lawnmower too.
Right.
If you notice, the ones on Fairfield and all those empty lots have almost all been hit by them mowing now.
All right, moving on, item 7.0 business, 7.1 minutes from the March 11th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to consider?
Motion, sir.
Motion from Mr. McCown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Greason. You had a chance to review the minutes. Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the minutes are adopted from the March 11th meeting. The next item on the agenda is the second regular meeting. Does anyone see a need for a second meeting? Wes?
I don't.
Paul? No, sir. Jerome?
No, the eclipse went well, so we're good.
Troy?
No, sir.
Good.
No, sir.
All right, that item died. Item 8.0 adjournment. Oh, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion from Mr.
Second.
McCown to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Greason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned as of 6:27 PM.